welcome back to my channel. I am getting ready today even though I feel terrible and I don't want to get ready. Here we are. So I hope you enjoy this video. I know it's been a long time and I do spill some tea in this video, but it's like cold tea and it doesn't mean anything to you, but it's tea, okay? I don't know, I might edit it out. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But yeah, I'll give you some of my makeup tips, and my hair was not meant to be this big and it happened. I have very thick hair and this is just what happened, but if you want to know how it happened, just watch the video and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it. I just washed my hair and it's air dried now. I have this Aveda, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, Aveda oil. I love that scent. I'm not using it as like a heat protectant or anything, just for smell good. This is Kenra Hot Spray. I love it, but like the sprayer is so hard, like I have to use both my hands to spray it. It's just so strange. It's really hard for some reason, but it works really well. It's a little heavier, so if you have like thin hair, you don't want that. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. I have terrible cramps, and when I have cramps, it like puts me over the edge where I just don't want to do anything. And it always seems like every time I have something going on. Always. I just want to be home. I love getting ready. I love doing my hair, but when I feel so crummy, and I don't take any pain relievers, so no ibuprofen or anything like that, so I just like really go through it. And yeah, it's terrible. Cheers! This year, I went out with he used to be my best friend. That's another story. Should I tell that today? Maybe. This year, I went out with my best friend and I ordered a Coke because I was like, ooh, it's a little treat. And then he said, I'm getting a Diet Coke. And I was like, actually, I'll get one too. And then that just started a whole thing where I haven't gone a day without Diet Coke now since then. And that was like in June. That's pretty bad. But there's something in it that's like so addicting. Do you want me to tell you the tea that happened? I won't go into like full detail, but I'll tell you most of it. So my best friends that I have known for a long time, like when I moved here from Nevada, I really didn't know anybody except for my cousins that lived here, but we were like, how should I say, we were just like a different group of people. Like I was kind of like nerdy and tomboy, and my cousin that is my age, we are just like total opposite, but we were like still really good friends. But at school, we went to different schools. I didn't really like mesh with anybody at my new school. It was the middle of my 7th grade. Ooh, let me scoot that back. It was middle of my 7th grade that we moved to the Midwest, and it was just totally different for me. Like everything was different for me. And when I lived out west, I obviously like grew up with those people since like preschool, and like it was easy to make friends because you know those people, right? Well, then when I moved to the Midwest, like I was made fun of a lot because I was like pretty nerdy. And the way I look, my glasses. And in 8th grade, I switched schools because we moved districts. And that's where I met my best friend, Rob. And I had a couple other best friends, like 2 girls that I was really close with. And when we went to high school, we separated. Like we went to different high schools, me and the girls. And we hung out a little bit freshman year, but then we all changed. Like we were all into different things. I was still like pretty innocent, and I was. very innocent, and they were very much into like high school things that I just didn't feel comfortable being around. And I hung out with my sister, who was a senior, and all her friends, and that's it. We just kind of separated. Then my sophomore year of high school, I met up with my best friend we went to I don't even know, I don't think it's like a charter school, but it was just a different school. Like you could take college credits while going into high school or going to high school. Anyways, then that's where I met like my core group of friends, where we just like did everything together when we could. I mean, I wasn't able to go out a lot, but when I did, it was with this core group. And we've stayed friends up until like the last couple years. Things have gotten a little weird. One friend got married. The wife didn't, I never met her, or at least I don't think I met her. She didn't want my friend to hang out with me anymore, which is fine. Like, people just don't understand the dynamic of it. Like, I don't know. They just don't understand, I guess. But I understand the discomfort when you don't understand a situation. So my friend obviously respected her, and we stopped talking. And actually, he stopped talking to like our whole group of friends, which was a bummer. There's another friend who was getting married, and I was still in nursing school. But when he invited me to the wedding, I was supposed to be graduating school, but then things happened, and I ended up being behind a semester with nursing school. So during the wedding, I was still in school, so I had to decline going to the wedding. Turns out, like, all of my friends declined going to the wedding, so that friend thought it was like a disrespectful thing, I think, and it hurt his feelings, so he stopped talking to us, which sucked because it was kind of like out of my hands. Like, I couldn't leave school to go to a wedding, you know, and it was out of state, out west, and I just couldn't do it. So that was a bummer. And then we have one friend who's friends with all of us. Like, we're all still really good friends with him. He's like the middle guy, okay? And then my best friend, who, like, this whole group of friends, we're all very good friends, but then there's like some of us that are best friends with others, you know, that hang out a little bit more or talk more too. So like my best friend, so we were going on, we called it the boys trip, even though I was there, the boys trip. And we wanted to do it like every year. The last time we went was to Pagosa Springs, and then we would plan like the next year, but then it ended up being like people had things going on, like it just didn't match with their schedules, okay? So then this year, my best friend and I were like, let's go on our trip. Like, we keep saying we're going to plan it. No one wanted to do it, like, so then we decided to go together. And I had like a little anxiety over it because I wanted it to be with my core group of friends, like my big group. And then when there's just two people, even though he's like my best friend, it's just like, I don't know, I just wanted like the whole guys trip, like our whole boys trip, to be there. But we still went through with it. We went to California. By like day 2, I'm not going to go into detail with everything because it's just not right to do. But by day 2, we were just like, I wasn't vibing. Like, he was making comments about me and my boyfriend, like saying weird things, like as like I forgot. It was something like we had like business transactions and all of that. Like, your relationship is like a business transaction, and he said it a couple times, and then finally, like, I believe it's on day 4, we were in Calabasas, and he made some comments. I don't even remember what the comment was, but I just, like, I was over it. Like, stop making comments about my relationship when I don't comment about any of yours. And when you're in a relationship, I have to, like, bend over backwards to make this girl like me, and show her that I'm not a threat and I want to be more of their friend than my best friend, you know. It's just like, it puts me in like such a weird position. But then he can talk about my boyfriend terribly when it just wasn't right. And that happened at our first guys trip too. He was making comments and finally I had to say, you need to stop, like, stop. And this time I was just like, this was a really long trip. We were walking, that's what I told him when we were walking in Calabasas. And he was like, yeah, it might have been like a day too long. I said, no, like 3 or 4 days too long. And I said, and honestly, see, I just like kind of speak my mind because I don't want anyone to have like to guess what I'm thinking or it to blow up bigger than what it needs to be. But I said, you know, honestly, I don't even know why we're friends if you're always talking about, because he makes comments about me too, like my face or my hair or whatever, he makes comments about me and my boyfriend. So I was like, I don't even know why we're friends if you're always like picking me apart and my relationship apart. Like, it's just like putting me down, whatever. And he said, oh, I'm sorry if I did that. I'm sorry if that's what it came off. And I said, that's not how it came off. That's how you were. You were disrespectful to me, disrespectful to my relationship. And honestly, you almost seem jealous of it because he's been married before and had stable relationships, but has never stayed in a long-term relationship like I have. And normally I wouldn't say, oh, you're jealous, but it seemed to be, and I was tired of being put down a lot. We were just silent the whole way on PCH. Whole way. Didn't talk, didn't say anything. We get back to the Airbnb and he said, which we weren't supposed to go to the Airbnb. Like, I had this whole thing planned out and he was driving, so he just took us back to the Airbnb and I was like, whatever. I didn't even want to argue about like, wait, I thought we were going to go here, or go have brunch here, or do this. So I just was like, whatever, he could take us to the Airbnb and we'll figure out what to do after that. And we get there and he says, I'm going for a walk. And I was like, okay. Then he's gone for like, I want to say it was like an hour because I watched like an entire Shane Dawson podcast and that's definitely an hour, if not more. And he came back and he just like walked in. And I think he was talking to his girlfriend on the phone or something. But he walked in and he was like, I'm leaving. And I was like, okay. And he's like, get your stuff out of the car, the rental car that we both paid for. I was like, okay. Like, not thinking he's like leaving. So I started to get some of my stuff out. And then he like went and grabbed all my stuff and just threw it in the living room in the Airbnb. And I was like, what the heck? And he grabbed his back. Like, he was already packed, so I don't know if he already, like, had planned this or what, but grabbed his bag and left the Airbnb. I was already looking into Delta to see if they could change my flight, and Oliver's snoring. And they were able to. It would cost me nothing. Like, I'd still get my first class seat. I still had, like, everything. They wouldn't downgrade me at all. And it wouldn't have cost me anything. Actually, I think I ended up getting like $70 back. So, and then my dad lives in Reno, and he was also like, well, why don't you just come home? And I thought about that too, because it was only where we first were, it was only like, where we first were staying, it was only like a 3-hour drive to my dad's. And then when I went to LA, that's like a 7-hour drive. And then not a long flight at all, but I was like, I think I just need to go home. So, and I paid for this Airbnb for 3 nights and we stayed there for 1 night. So I just lost that money, which is fine. It is what it is. So he left. I stayed. Like, I was like, well, honestly, I came here. I might as well like stay in LA and hang out and do all the things that I've planned to do just alone. And that's fine. I love being alone. But then I just like wasn't feeling it. Like, I think I was feeling like a little sad and didn't want to be there at all. So I ended up contacting Delta. They switched my flights. Yeah, I got home. My dad was like really worried because first of all, it's like, why did your best friend leave you in LA? That's not okay. And the worst part about it is, like, I was texting my best friend and I was saying, like, hey, I paid for that car and you just, like, took off. Like, we paid, not for the whole thing, we paid half and half. If I was to stay there, I'd have to take an Uber every day. It would just cost me more money. So can you at least give me, like, that half I gave you? And he said no. So he just gave me, I think it was like $20, $40 or something back for the days that I would miss, which still didn't make sense. And I was like, whatever, I'm not going to make this into a thing. So I was texting him that. He declined and gave me whatever money he felt was appropriate, which wasn't. And then he said, do you even know why I left? And I said, you left because I set boundaries and you couldn't respect them, so you had to leave. And he said, you told me you don't even know why we're friends, that's why I left. And I was like, correct. That is correct. I do not know why we're friends, and then you leave me at an Airbnb, so I really do not know why we are friends. The communication was cut from there because I blocked him. I'm not going to let someone disrespect me, and I'm choosing peace for myself, so blocked. And that was in September. It is November, and he's still blocked. And do you know how many times I thought about unblocking him and saying, like, hey, how are you doing? Mental check-in, like how I normally do. Almost every week. I've been a little down lately because I feel like our friend group has slowly declined. I sent a message to my friends minus him, and I said, I really miss you guys. And my friend who had the wedding and was mad that, like, no one showed up, which I totally understand, obviously, he texted me back and said, I'm coming home for Christmas and we can hang out if you want. I was like, oh my gosh. So, and then my other friend texts, so he'll probably meet up with us too. And I feel like so much better, like I'm getting like my friends back slowly. The other situation is going to take a little time to mend. Anyways, that's the tea how I lost my best friend. It's honestly like grieving someone that's alive. I don't know where all my get ready headbands are, so this is as good as it's going to get. I have been using the It Cosmetics CC cream, but this actually breaks me out. This foundation lasts for so long. It is an amazing foundation. If you have dry skin, probably not the best. You want to make sure you're moisturized, but it is such a good foundation. I only need like that, and that might even be a little too much. It's very much full coverage. So this, like I said, this might even be a little too much. Maybelline Plush, like a gel. Oh. Shouldn't be this hard to open. I love when it's sealed like that. I can't even see it. Too light for me. I really wanted like a cute pink. I'm using It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. This is actually very good, and you only need a tiny bit again. Like, it is so concentrated. That might even be too much. I just like to warm it up with my finger first. Another helpful tip, if you have like Aquaphor or like lanolin, if you put a tiny bit under your eyes before applying your concealer, it doesn't really crepe at all. Like, there's no creasing. I don't know what's going on down there. I remember when I was going to school for dental, there was this lady talking in like the head and neck anatomy class, and you could tell she did contour and she didn't rub it in. Like there was like a line. It was like she almost forgot to rub it in. So ever since then, I've been like very cautious. She was with like 3 other women and no one said anything to her. She was obviously speaking for the class, so I wasn't gonna go up to her and be like, you need to rub in your makeup. Because how do I know, like, maybe that's her everyday look? I don't know. Like, I was talking to this other nurse the other day, and she had, like, dry skin right here, and I was like, you have, like, dry skin on your lip. And it's not me, like, pointing out flaws, it's just, I would want someone to tell me. And she was very thankful, by the way. And then I told her the story about my boyfriend came home, and he just came home from a meeting that he leads the meetings, and he had like chocolate on his face, on his chin, and I was like, "Were you eating chocolate?" He was like, "Yeah, I had an ice cream sandwich." And I said, "Was it before or after your meeting?" And he said it was before. And I was like, "And no one told you you have chocolate on your chin?" And he was like, "I have chocolate on my chin?" Yeah. How rude. Oh, that might have been too much. Might as well see what happens. I think we'll do the Orgy palette by Jeffree Star. I really like Jeffree's makeup. I like doing light makeup like this, and it reminds me of like old money, like just flawless makeup, not too heavy, but also just like very put together, if that makes sense. I just take a brush like this type of brush, and then I dip it in a darker eyeshadow. So I'm using Orgy and I Am Close by the Orgy palette, Jeffree Star. His makeup is too good. It is so good. I'm doing Anastasia Beverly Hills. I literally, you see how light my eyebrows are, and I'm missing a lot of eyebrow. So I just like, I don't have to fill in this part necessarily because that's like the best part of my eyebrow. It's mainly like back here where it's like super thin. Okay, I'm going to bake it. Smashbox Super Fan mascara. Oh, I want to get this off my face first. It looks very faded in the viewfinder. Like the whole color. Like I look very faded out. A little bit of this Palmer's oil just a tiny bit. I have a Biolage oil somewhere and I cannot find it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I am hoping to make a lot more of these videos. Of course, I say that all the time, but I enjoy it so much. I have a lot of videos, okay, that I really need to just edit and put up because I love filming, I love editing, I just don't put it out there, and I probably should. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any tips for me, that would be awesome. Let me know, and I'll see you